for joining Holly Radio Show. Thank you so much for being with us. It's time for your garden questions and our garden answers. Want more information about those sponsors? Our parent website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com, under the Money tab for coupon codes and Radio 9 tab for all past shows and listing of all sponsors that make this program possible. Question and answer time. Send it on over to gardentalkradio@gmail.com. That's gardentalkradio@gmail.com or 1-800-927-SHOW. You can call that number anytime with your question. 1-800-927-7469.
All right, so first question is, my first year growing potatoes, I thought they did really great, but now about 2 weeks later after drying, I washed them. I think they mean like curing or whatever. I washed them off for the first time, and they are, all my Yukon Gold have had these rings that are sort of raised. What is this, and is it safe to eat if I cut around?
Well,
it's potato scab.
Potato scab, and you don't want to clean your potatoes unless you're going to use them. That dirt has a protective layer for the potato. So whether you're long-term storaging in a cellar, basement, or just whether you're storing them in a basement, cellar, or bottom of a cabinet, wherever, out of direct sunlight, because they will begin to sprout, you want to leave that dirt on until you're going to use it. Now, you've got potato scab. And there's a couple of things in which to prevent potato scab. Focus on managing your soil conditions and potato selection. Keys include planting certified scab-free potatoes. If you're buying potatoes or planting those that are sprouting in your cupboard that you've purchased from the store, these can have issues. We've done it, and it's okay, but not all potatoes are created equal. So if the potato that's starting to sprout has some scabbing on it, it's going to transfer into the ground and into the next layer or next round of potatoes that you're planting. So try to find a resistant variety and maintain acidic soil conditions, about a 5.3. Now, that is a little on the lower side, but potatoes are more adaptable to that. Now, if you don't want to adjust it, that's not detrimental to the production of your potatoes, but that is the key level that they want to be grown in. And avoid fresh manure and excess lime. Fresh manure will burn your certain manures will burn your plants, but fresh manure in general with potatoes is not necessarily a good thing. And lime, overabundance of lime, we talk about it all the time. Too much of this you may think is good, but not really.
And then you can rotate your crops. I know this isn't always
every 3
easy.
years.
Yeah, I know this isn't always easy in certain gardening situations, but you can, one corner of the garden to another corner, and you want to make sure that you are using non-susceptible crops such as corn, peas, or beans. That will
bush beans are a good go-to.
Yeah.
They will grow very well in most conditions. Has anyone ever moved their raised beds? I realize mine would make more sense turned the other way, but they are full of stuff right now, and obviously I should wait until they are not much, until there's not much growing in them, right? To give context, they are 2x4 by 1 foot tall and definitely heavy.
So this is what I would do.
Yes.
I mean, obviously, you're going to have to empty some of the soil.
First of all, why are you wanting to move it? Are they not? Is things not growing very good in the current orientation that they are in? Or do you just feel that it would be better to rotate them? We don't have all that information.
It just says that they'll be better turned the other way. All right. So assuming that you have some sort of reason, whether it be how you want your backyard to look or whatever, you have to figure out a solution. So the best solution, I think, would be to, if you can, do them one by one and empty half the soil. Now ours, we don't have a bottom to ours.
Correct. We don't know if that's the case with these or not, but you're going to have to remove a lot of soil.
Yeah. We could probably get away with removing like half the soil from the sides.
Correct.
And then
twisting it. Yeah. 180 degrees and point them the other way. Yeah.
So like keep the soil that's in the middle, and obviously you're going to have some spillage or whatever, but that could be an option.
Wheelbarrow and a big tarp.
Right, to put all that soil on a tarp. This will also give you a chance to, if you want to,
bond with your children or your grandchildren or your spouse.
Pay a neighbor kid. But it'll give you a chance to replenish the soil if you need to, and you don't have to do all of it. You could do half or a quarter or whatever, but it'll kind of give you a chance to to do that. So I don't think there's anything wrong with it. There's not really like an easy way, but it is possible.
Hey, we've done a lot of things that weren't easy, but we got them done, and it worked. Things look a lot better because we did them the way it needed to be done.
I think you should probably do that, late fall, early spring.
I would do it late fall.
Yeah.
Because early spring, everybody's like, I'm 2 weeks behind before I ever get started. That's just the motive of everybody's mind. I should have done this 2 weeks ago. We've been there.
Yeah, for sure. And if you could just if you feel that, I don't know how many, did he say, or she or whoever say how many?
No, just,
just do one at a time so that you feel you have some control, because sometimes projects like that take on a whole beast and then you get tired. And so I would just start one at a time.
Number 4, I need some ideals for canning peppers. I have a mix of hot and sweet ones and have already picked a whole bunch of banana peppers, hot mixed peppers, and hot sweet peppers relish. I've done pepper jelly and I'm not a fan of it. So looking for any ideals, not enough jalapenos for cowboy candy.
You could do a mild cowboy candy. That's one thing. I've done it with sweet peppers.
Okay.
And also hot peppers. So you could do a combo. Otherwise, you can dehydrate them. You can ferment them, make your own hot sauce, slice and freeze.
Right. Now I dug around. I did find this, and I've never heard of this. So if you're listening and you've done this, gardentalkradio@gmail.com, let me know. Chop and dry them in a dehydrator. Mix them with sea salt. It's an amazing finish salt, great for popcorn, cornbread, and any vegetable topping.
It's almost like paprika. Paprika is smoked peppers.
Right.
So it'd be
smoked
like
and dehydrated,
yeah. It'd be like less smoky.
Put it on popcorn.
I guess.
Yeah.
I can't eat popcorn.
Yeah. You don't like cornbread, and then there's health issues why you can't eat popcorn. But
I also don't like lemonade.
Wait, whoa! You don't like lemonade?
Yeah. How do you not know that?
I don't. I'm learning things that I should have known 15 years ago. How do you not like lemonade? What's wrong with lemonade?
It's too sour.
Have you not had like homemade lemonade?
No, I don't like that either.
So even because that's extremely tart. You put some lemons and like half of it full of sugar. No.
I don't like lemonade, cornbread,
rhubarb. Can't eat popcorn.
Can't eat popcorn. I can't eat regular corn. I miss corn. Like, I miss the freshness of the corn with the butter.
You couldn't do
salt.
like pulverize it and turn it into like a paste corn?
That sounds
terrible. Isn't there something in the
cream corn?
Yeah. Isn't there something in the Mexican cuisine where they grind corn up and they layer it onto like a tortilla or something? Isn't there something like that?
That's how they make tortillas.
Oh, okay.
Anyway.